Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Beyond the Sewing Room. I'm Diane. So today I thought I'd share with you how I made my linen trousers. So I recently bought some linen fabric from Annie's on Abbeydale Road. I did share that in a previous video. And I also said that I was thinking of making some linen trousers with them. Well, I have a few different trouser patterns, so I had a little look through. And I changed my mind a couple of times about which ones I might like to use. But I finally decided on an old favourite, so I'm going to share that with you now. Also in this video I'm also going to be sharing a little bit about the make of a top that I had on in a previous video. A few people had said that they liked it. It's sort of a faux animal kind of print in pink and green and black, and it's a really nice print, and I thought I'd just share what the fabric was and what the pattern was that I used for that, because it is a favourite top of mine. It always gets lots of compliments and it's a really nice shape, so I thought you might like to make that, so I'll share that with you in a moment. Also, first of all, the trousers. So the fabric that I bought was a linen mix. So it's a linen blend. It's this one in this pink. And I did think that I was going to make a different pair of trousers. Now the reason I decided to make this pattern today is because it's one that I've made before. I've made it quite a few times, and each time I've made it I've adapted it a little. So it's the basic shape that I like, and I do find that if you find a pattern that you like and it has a really good fit in certain areas, it's great to stick to that one and just change certain elements, because you know you're going to get the fit just right. So we always, of course, need to try things on, because sometimes we change, our bodies change and so on. And also, sometimes depending on the fabric, it can just hang a little different and look a little different, but it's good to stick to one that you know. So this is the one that I've gone for because I've made so many pairs of trousers with this, and it's an old one. I don't even know if you can get it now. So it's new look, and it's 6532, and this particular one came with a magazine quite a few years ago. And I've made everything on this pattern. So I've made this top a few times. I've made this also as a dress, that works really well. I've made the trousers a number of times. I don't do the boot cut. I never do the boot cut. I like the shape of them to here, but the boot cut is the part that I always change, so I don't do that. And then the top, I've made it with long sleeves, short sleeves and a dress. The jacket, I've made it just once. I think when I made the jacket, I liked the idea of it and more of the actual what it turned out like, and I only ever wore it a couple of times. Now the trousers have a zip in the side seat, and I really like that because it means you get a really nice flat finish on the front and the back of them. I've often added belt loops. Sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't, sometimes a belt. And the trouser leg, I just straighten it off with a ruler. So that's the way that I do that. So the other thing that I've done with this pattern a few times is to make the trousers and the top in the same fabric and then add a belt, and then it looks like a mock jumpsuit. So if you like the idea of a jumpsuit but you don't want to wear a jumpsuit because it's quite awkward to go to the toilet when you're out wearing a jumpsuit, and they can sometimes be a bit of a nuisance when you have to take the whole thing down and then hold it up off the toilet floor if you're out somewhere and you're not quite sure. So I think that's a good idea. If you make the top and the trousers in the same fabric, you still get that same look without all the hassle really. So I've done that a few times as well. So I'm going to show you the trousers that I've made today. So I'm going to insert a few photographs here which I've just taken. I haven't wore them for a full day or out yet because I've only just finished them this morning. This morning I've just hand stitched the hem and just closed up the hole on the belt that I made. And I've just tried them on just so that you can see them really. So these are my trousers. The belt's a little bit crumpled now from where I've just tied it. I've added belt loop, so I've added 5. So I've added 2 at the front here, just to either side of the front dart. I've added 1 just past the side, on each side, towards the back, and then 1 in the centre back, just there. I've also added pockets. Now these come quite high up on the waist at the back, this particular trouser, and I do like that because they give a really good coverage. They feel really nicely, especially if you're belting them, which sometimes I feel if the rise of the trousers is down a little bit at the back, it can feel a little odd, and if you want to add a belt, the belt always slips above it. That doesn't happen with these trousers because they are nice and high. So that's just one thing to note. So my pockets are just here, look, so it's a little lower than they would be on jeans. And I've done a double row of top stitching all the way around the outside, and they are just curved. So it's just a curved shape at the bottom. Now they are not included in the pattern, I just used paper, which is what I always do when I'm adding my own pockets. So I just trace them off on paper and then cut round them and then just try them and see if I think that looks round about the right size. And then if it does, I add in the seam allowance and then I cut them out. Or you could just place them on and just cut them out, allowing the seam allowance as you cut. So that's what I've done with mine. And then the hem, it's just hand stitched, look, so it's overlocked on the inside and then just catch stitched over so that on the outside it's invisible. And I just feel that these are a really nice pair of trousers. I think I'll wear them a lot. The fit is perfect and hopefully they will last a long time. So I'm not sure about this fabric because it's the first time I've used this particular one. So we will have to see how it goes on through sort of numerous wash cycles. So when they've been washed a few times, let's just see how it fares, because as I said, it's a linen blend and not one that I've had before. So it has been washed, but sometimes washing and wearing can be the thing that tests out the fabric, can't it? So that's that one. So I hope that's something that you'll maybe have a look at. If you can get your hands on that pattern, it's a really good one. It's not expensive, or it wasn't. As I said, I got it from a magazine. But even if you buy the New Look ones, they're not expensive, especially when it's a multi-pattern like that, where you get a jacket, a top and trousers all in one. So next up, I'm going to show you the top I had on the other day, because quite a few people asked me what it was and that they liked it. So it was this top right here. So as you can see, it's a sleeveless top. It has a faced neckline, and then there's also a zip at the back neck. Now that's just to make it easy to get it on and off your head, but as you can see, it's got quite a big neckline, so I found I can get it on without the zip. So if you didn't want to put the zip in, you don't need to. And then it's got this really big tie belt at the waist, and that goes around the back, round the front, and then ties in a big bow. And then at the bottom, it flares out. So it's got these panels going all the way down it, and it's shaped. So it's a really nice shape. It looks nice over a close-fitting trousers or jeans, and it's quite dressy. And the fabric is Urban Cheetah. Now this is from Minerva, and it's one of their exclusive ones. So if you do want this particular fabric, you have to go to them because it is their fabric that they designed. So if you're interested in that, that's what that is. And it comes in all different kinds of fabric. This one is a viscose chalet. If you don't want a viscose chalet, they've also got it in a jersey, French terre, a few other styles of fabric as well. So do have a look if you're interested in that particular print. So I really like that top. So yes, that's a favourite of mine, and it's one that I will be making again. So I'll show you the pattern front. So here it is. So it's a simplicity pattern. So it's 8921. And if you don't want to make it sleeveless like this, you can do it with the full sleeves. You can do it with a ruffle or this crossover bit at the front. Now that crossover one is not really for me, but I do like the other three styles. So maybe next time I'll try one of the other two, because obviously I've already made this one. Although I do like this one, I do wear it quite a bit. The thing is, it's quite a tricky one for me to use oddments of fabric on because of the long line nature of it and it being in panels. So, you know, you do need quite a good piece of fabric to make it. Let me have a look. How much did I use for that one? So for B top, because you've got that big belt as well. For my size, it was 1.5 on a 60 width piece. So mainly I think a lot of that is because it's got the long pieces, the flare and the belt across it. So if you wanted to make it a little shorter, if you wanted to make a thinner belt, maybe you could leave the belt off altogether and maybe use a belt of your own if you were trying to save on fabric. But yeah, a really nice one, so one to add to your collection if you're interested in a different kind of top. Today I am wearing my Peak t-shirt. I thought I'd mention that because people often ask me and then I forget to mention what I've been wearing. Obviously I'm always wearing handmade because all my clothes are handmade. So this is from a Birdette magazine pattern. It was a long sleeve pattern that I made with a wide neck V. So I've changed the V and I've squared it off here at these points where it meets. So obviously this is in sections and this is top stitched, and then I've squared it off here and I made the V much narrower. I've also made the sleeve short and then added a turn up on this. So this was one of my tops that I made when I was adding to my solids for my wardrobe. So that's still ongoing because I still do love pattern and print. But I've added a few plain things and this was one of them, and I really like this one, how it turned out. It's really comfortable and it goes with lots of things. So that's what I'm wearing on the top, and on the bottom I'm wearing these trousers, and I have said, because I have still got my piece of dark denim that I've not worked on yet that I got from Annie's the first time I went. And because it's supposedly summer, it's still grey and miserable out there, but I didn't want to make the dark ones just yet, but I'm wearing the light ones today. So these are the ones that I made in the light denim quite a while ago. You can just see the top of them. And they are wide legged like this, and I made these in this pale denim. I have to admit, I have ran the legging a couple of times, and I did this last year when I wore them, and then this year when I got them out again. I took them in a little bit further, because although you can't really see it on that picture, when you first make them they are really wide legged, and I wore them a couple of times like that and just felt, wow, they are too big. So I took a little off each side, and as I said, I've done that again recently. They're still really wide, but they feel a bit more comfortable for me. And there's different ways you can make that pair as well. As you can see, you can add belts and pockets to those. These have got pockets in the front, just here. But you don't have to add the pockets to that one if you don't want to. So I thought I'd remember today and let you know what I'm actually wearing. Now, we had a little trip to Ecclesall Road in Sheffield the other day, where there's quite a few charity shops. Just had a browse. My husband likes to have a look. He has lots of jeans, likes to give a Levi's and things like that. And I had a little look, and there's a craft area in one of them, which is really nice. And I found a lovely big piece of fabric. Now, I'm not going to share that today because I'm going to save it for my next video and share my plans, because I've got a really good idea of what I'm going to make with that already. So it's been washed, it's dried, I just need to give it a good press now. It's really wild, so it's not at all plain, but I have got a really good idea in mind of what I want to do with that. So more on that in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this today. Please let me know if you've got a favourite trouser pattern and one that you keep coming back to, and I'll be back soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.